Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Sport This Week video. And in today's video, I got tennis, baseball, basketball, cricket, rugby, football, UFC, and Formula One news. So a lot of different sport news this week. If you are new around here and you have not subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, starting off this week, I'm going to start off with the baseball news, where there isn't loads, as it is still the knockouts and it's going to be the final soon. And then I think that decides who's a winner. But I'll keep updated on that one. But actually, what happened this week? Dodgers lost 5-4 to Braves. Dodgers won 6-5 versus Braves. Dodgers lost 9-2 versus Braves. Dodgers won 11-2 versus Braves, and Braves won 4-2 versus Dodgers. So it's just them two playing lots of games against each other, and whoever gets more wins between them two is going through to the final. Moving on, that is all the baseball news. Moving on, I'm going to go to tennis news, where it is been two tournaments this week. So the end of the Indian Masters, where Norrie won 2-1 versus Basilashvili to win the Indian Masters. And then it was the Kremlin Cup, which Sabalenka took part in. She won 2-1 versus Tom Yanovich, but then she lost 2-0 versus Alexandrova. And Alexandrova went to the final, but she lost 2-1 versus Kontaviet, who then won the cup. So fair play to her. That is all the tennis news. Moving on, I'm gonna go to the cricket news now, where there was two warm-up games to just warming up for the ICC World Cup T20, and the warm-up games went like India won 192 to 188 versus England, and England won 163 to 150 versus New Zealand. And them two are the two warm-up games. And then actually in the World T20 Cup, England won 56 to 55 versus West Indies. That's a good start for England. Terrible for West Indies. They really didn't seem to be playing to play well, and I mean the scoreline just shows that really. Moving on to the rugby now, which was return of rugby, but only a little bit of news. It was a international friendly, where England won 30 to 10 versus France. That is all the rugby news. Moving on to the basketball news now, where there's a little bit more. Lakers lost 121 to 114 versus Warriors. Lakers really haven't started off well this season. Bulls won 94 to 88 versus Pistons. Celtics lost 138 to 134 versus Knicks. 76ers won 117 to 97 versus Pelicans. Heat won 137 to 95 versus Bucks. Clippers lost 115 to 113 versus Warriors. 76ers lost 114 to 109 versus Nets. Celtics lost 115 to 83 versus Raptors. Bulls won 128 to 112 versus Pelicans. Lakers lost 115 to 105 versus Suns. Heat lost 102 to 91 versus Pacers. Bulls won 97 to 82 versus Pistons. Clippers lost 120 to 114 versus Grizzlies. That is all the basketball news now. Moving on, I'm going to go to the football news, where there is quite a lot of news this week. So starting off, Brady has signed for Bournemouth on a free transfer. Arsenal drew 2-2 versus Crystal Palace. Man City won 5-1 versus Bruges. Sporting won 4-1 versus Besiktas. PSG won 3-2 versus Leipzig. Porto won 1-0 versus Milan. Liverpool won 3-2 versus Atletico. Ajax won 4-0 versus Dortmund. Inter won 3-1 versus Sheriff. Real Madrid won 5-1 versus Shakhtar. Bruce has been sacked by Newcastle. Celtic won 2-0 versus Ferencváros. Leicester won 4-3 versus Spartak Moscow. Fati has signed a new contract with Barcelona until 2027 with a 1 billion release clause, the same as Pedri. Mental. I mean, maybe one day people might be able to match that, but I don't know at the moment. Barcelona won 1-0 versus Kiev. Salzburg won 3-1 versus Wolfsburg. Bayern won 4-0 versus Benfica. Villarreal won 4-1 versus Young Boys. Man U won 3-2 versus Atalanta. Lille drew 0-0 versus Sevilla. Chelsea won 4-0 versus Malmo. Juventus won 1-0 versus Zenit. Fenerbahce drew 2-2 versus Antwerp. Lazio drew 0-0 versus Marseille. Midtjylland drew 1-1 versus Sur. Vena Zvezda. Braga won 1-0 versus Ludogorets. Betis drew 1-1 versus Leverkusen. Rapid Wien won 2-1 versus Zagreb. Rangers won 2-0 versus Brøndby. Lyon won 4-3 versus Prague. Monaco won 2-1 versus PSV. Sociedad won 1-0 versus Sturm. Napoli won 3-2 versus Legia. Frankfurt won 3-1 versus Olympiacos. Galatasaray won 1-0 versus Moskva. I don't know if I said that right. West Ham won 3-2 versus Genk. I don't really know how to say this. Bodo / Glimt. I know I've really butchered that, but that's how it's meant to. That's how it's written. Won 6-1 versus Roma, which is a massive upset. And Vitesse won 1-0 versus Spurs, which is also a big upset. Arsenal won 3-1 versus Villa. Man City won 4-1 versus Brighton. Chelsea won 7-0 versus Norwich. Palace drew 1-1 versus Newcastle. Watford won 5-2 versus Everton. Wolves drew 1-1 versus Leeds. Southampton drew 2-2 versus Burnley. Nice won 3-2 versus Lyon. Real Madrid won 2-1 versus Barcelona. West Ham won 1-0 versus Spurs. Chelsea won 2-1 versus Brentford. Verona won 4-1 versus Lazio. Ajax won 5-0 versus PSV. Liverpool won 5-0 versus Man U. Roma drew 0-0 versus Napoli. Bochum won 2-0 versus Frankfurt. PSG drew 0-0 versus Marseille. Inter drew 1-1 versus Juventus. And Sociedad drew 2-2 versus Atletico. And yeah, that is all the football news. A lot, like I said. But yeah, that is the end of it. Moving on to UFC now. Vettori won via decision versus Costa. And Dawson drew versus Glenn. But yeah, that is all the short UFC news. Moving on to the final sport now, which is F1, where it was the US Grand Prix. Verstappen was on pole, Hamilton started second, and Perez started third, and it ended just like that. Verstappen won, Hamilton came second, and Perez finished third. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, please do like the video, subscribe if you are new, and thanks for watching.